Well, hello everyone. This is Rob. Welcome to the Into the Music live stream. And we're going to be talking about some new releases here in January. And we've got with us tonight our stellar crew. We've got Joe Sly from Fox Menagerie. Say hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
And we've got Eric Hagen from up in Door County, Sturgeon Bay.
How's it going?
What up, man?
And we've got Tyler S.J. from here in Appleton.
In the basement.
In the basement. And all the way from the Australian outback, we've got Jamie Balcombe of the Outback Surf Squad. How you doing, Jamie?
G'day, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Good on you, Rob.
Good to see you.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, mate. You too, mate.
And from an undisclosed location.
He's been taken hostage by his girlfriend. Michael Grabner, everybody.
Michael Grabner.
Hello, hello.
He's actually in the
Good to be here.
Bahamas.
Yes.
An undisclosed location in the Bahamas.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Good, man. How's everybody
Excellent.
doing?
Excellent.
Cool.
Doing well.
Jamie, what time is it there?
It's just gone midday, so it's a perfect time for an interview for sure. So yeah, beautiful time.
Wonderful.
It's Wednesday though. we're always about 14, 16 hours ahead of you guys.
So Jamie's coming to us from the future. And
Weird.
all right. Well, hey, we've all got some new releases that are either already out or about to come out. And so that's why we're all here. We're going to talk about them, maybe hear a few samples as we go along. But let's start out here because, Joe, I know you're around for the first part here. And so Fox Menagerie, tell us a little bit about Fox Menagerie and about the new album Versus.
Sure. Okay. Well, Fox Menagerie is a group that me and my good friend and musical partner Dave Jerebick started a few years ago, and the idea is that we would meet with a different group of musicians in the library every week, record a couple of songs, an original song, and a reimagined cover song, and then release these videos on YouTube. And we've been at it for just over 2 years, every week, every Thursday morning, and led to a few live concerts as well. But it's been a lot of fun to shine a spotlight on just how many amazingly talented, creative people live right near us in the neighborhood of the Fox Valley.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in regards to Versus now is this kind of a 50-50, half originals and then half new arrangements of songs that we pretty all much know?
Yeah, you nailed it. That's exactly what it is. This is pretty much our format. We pretty much alternate weeks with an original song and a reimagined cover. And, it's whenever we have different singers and different ensemble all the time. And whenever I'm in conversation with the next singer, we talk about it.
All right. Well, here's a little snippet of one called Love What You Do.
Love what you do. Do what you love. Love what you do.
What can you tell us about that, Joe?
Well, you're hearing the lovely voice of Frankie Joe Moscato on that one. And the song that I wrote a few years back was when I was living in Nashville, so it's somewhere around 2016, 17, somewhere in there. I wrote with a really good friend of mine, Carrie Ott. And, we were just having fun in his home studio, just kind of playing. His home studio is just a playground. It's, piano here, drums there, guitars, basses. And, we just kind of got on that sort of funny lyrical thing. Love what you do what you love what you do. Have all you want all you have, love what you do. And it was just we're trying to make something kind of fun and simple and joyful. It's pure joy. That's all it's all it is.
Cool. And to give a little idea of what you do with new arrangements, you guys covered "In Your Eyes" by Peter Gabriel. Let's take a little listen to that.
I get so lost sometimes. Days pass, and this emptiness fills my heart. When I want to run away, I drive off in my car. But whichever way I go, I come back to the place you are. And all my instincts, they return. The grand facade so soon will burn. Without a noise, without my pride, I'll reach out from the
So, what can you tell us about that one?
Well, I was starting to mention earlier when I speak with students about it, I was talking with Kaylee Ballinger. She's the singer on that one. Who used to sing with a great group in the Fox Valley called, they're on the tip of my tongue. Anybody remember the band that Kaylee was in, Lucas and Jordan? Anyway, it'll come
I'm
to
not
me.
sure.
I know.
But the conversation usually goes, all right, what were you listening to as a teenager? What was on your playlist in high school? Let's tap into some nostalgia because that's part of the stuff. And then let's twist it up in such a way that it's a little bit surprising. Some of the arrangements we do, the song might be almost foreign or unrecognizable until it gets to a certain hook or something like that. And that's part of the fun. Like, how can we reimagine it essentially? And
How do you settle on like a vibe? Like, do you jam together as a band, or is it mostly you and?
It's mostly me and the singer talking about it, and then I end up fleshing out most of the arrangement in my home studio and kind of back and forth with Dave a little bit about maybe this one should have a New Orleans second line groove to it, or maybe this one should have the last one we just did had a banjo and a resonator guitar on it, and it was Aerosmith. Like, okay, yeah, that's like it's we kind of try to find something within the song, whether it's a certain vibe or a hook, and then play with it, explore it, twist it upside down, cover it with hot sauce, whatever it takes.
It's great.
Put it in the oven for a minute. Yeah.
You say hot sauce, and makes me think of this one. You got Kate Voss on vocal here. You got Jason Gessel on guitar.
Yeah. Yeah. Andy Merton's playing that role.
When the darkness surrounds you and you cannot see the light,
Man, I don't think he could have picked a better
just
vocalist.
close your eyes and become one with the night.
Yeah. Total
When
vibe.
the danger has found you so close that you can't decide, just jump right in, don't let it pass you by.
So even in just these three samples, we're hearing a lot of variety in this album.
Yeah. So part of the initial inspiration for the group was what the Scary Pockets were doing, a group out of LA that was doing reimagined covers, and they were digging into the funk, like funk R&B thing, and all covered. So that was kind of a launching in point for us because they were shining a light on the LA scene and doing some really cool creative stuff. And we thought, well, let's use that as a model to kind of launch into, but let's incorporate the original music aspect of it and the Fox Valley scene. And it doesn't have to all be funk. We do some funk, some R&B, but we get into bluegrass, some country, some Tom Waitsy meets Cake vibe. it's a playground in there, and it's all in the library, which is
Yeah.
super fun.
And the cool thing is you guys do all the videoing. You do this all at at the Winneconne High School library. And thank you again. I mean, you guys were very generous in allowing me to kind of intrude on your turf there back in May. But man, it's such a cool thing that you guys got going. And folks, Fox Menagerie has this very cool YouTube channel where you can see, I mean, what you're seeing on those videos is what you're getting on this new album. It's just incredible how you record these things.
I appreciate that, Rob, and we really enjoy what you do. So it was a treat for us to have you around and get to chat with you and enjoy your shows and how you put them together as well.
Well, thank you. Now, where can folks find the album and any of your other material that they want to maybe purchase or listen to?
Well, you mentioned the YouTube channel. That's where we're trying to direct people now, because that gives us a lot of opportunity to show the beautiful library and all the things. And you get to, it's funny, if you live anywhere within 50 miles of Oshkosh, Appleton, Green Bay, watching week to week, you're probably going to recognize somebody somewhere, so YouTube's the main spot, but now that with this album Versus, we have a couple other albums that are out as well, where we have obviously a backlog of material because we're putting out a new song every week. But we're trying to catch up a little bit. So you can, anywhere that has streaming, you can look at Fox Menagerie and you'll be able to hear a couple albums worth of exactly what you're hearing now, reimagined covers and originals, and some of the best players in the Valley.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're looking around here on the screen. Any of these guys piquing your interest?
Oh, I can't wait to hear what they all do. A lot of these guys are kind of new to me, and that's the other fun thing about the Menagerie is every week somebody is meeting somebody new for the very first time, and then we're just thrown into this this recording session, and it's great because we get to meet new people, hear new bands because of it. So I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all are doing too.
Wonderful. All right. Well, Joe, thank you for sharing about Versus. Guys, any comments, anything you want to add in?
Just a big fan. Like the Menagerie is exactly what it is. You can find, like, scroll through the videos, you're going to see like every player you recognize from town, basically. It's awesome.
Same. I look forward to the videos every time I go past one on social media. I watch the whole thing, and the videography is just so impressive, as well as the musicianship. I love them. So
kudos to Dana Jarabek, who is the librarian at the Winneconne, and she's also Dave's wife. But she's the one who's done the camera work from day one. Dave edits all, but yeah, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
It's incredible.
Absolutely. And you guys live, I caught you live a couple times this year or this past year. And man, I mean, what you guys bring, it's just like the library. I mean, the players are different, they vary, but it's always like this very quality gig.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. We always, for the bigger summertime shows, we always try to bring in about 3 or 4 singers so we can just keep them on rotation and just, that's interesting to me, especially I've sang in a lot of bands, and I know that, boy, hearing that same singer again on the next song too, like, can that guy just be quiet for a minute and let somebody else do it? So I get that, and yeah, it's fun. Thanks for plugging the band and the live set too.
All right. And one more question that I have for you, Joe, is that at the Mile Music this year, I caught you with the tunes. Is that going to be an extended engagement?
Yeah, I think John's just kind of letting that one simmer and bubble up when it wants to bubble up. And whenever he gives me a call, I'm always eager to jump in and join him, because we're musical comrades for a long time now.
Yeah. So shout out to Woody, to John, and to Adam. man, they've got a great thing going too. So, well, again, Joe, thank you for sharing about the new album. And we're going to move on now to Eric.
Thanks,
Welcome.
Rob.
You bet. Welcome to the podcast, to the live stream. Man, tell us about, I mean, we were talking about it before we went live here, but you're in your studio space right now.
Yeah, I got a studio here at the Tambourine Collaboratory in Sturgeon Bay. So what everybody, recognize with the Holiday Motel and the Steel Bridge Song Fest and all of that stuff. Tambourine Lounge is right down the hall where Pat McDonald his rambles the halls here. And we just got a lot of artists and of various types here in the collaboratory. And I got 3 rooms here that I do all my stuff in and do some recording and some work for other people too. So, you walk down the hall and you see pictures of Jackson Browne and Jane Weedland and Eric McFadden and, all the old posters and everything. It's a cool space.
Nice. Now, you're going to be dropping is it an EP or an album on Friday?
Oh, just an EP. Who does albums anymore? Oh, sorry, Joe. I don't know. Does anybody have attention span for it anymore, man? I don't know. But yeah, no, an EP. I just do 5 at a time.
Right. Okay. And so far, you've actually dropped 2 singles from the EP, and the first one was "Accuse Me," and then more recently, "Deja Vu." And let me cue up "Accuse Me" here because, man, this is when I heard this track, it just floored me. I love this.
If you wanna accuse me, you wanna spend your nights out running round, then you wanna come home and beat me down. You wanna stand there and say it's all for love. And you wanna run around, drag my name through the mud. If you wanna accuse me.
Man, that is, when we talked last year, Eric, and you told me about, you seem to have this hybrid of this old Stax, Muscle Shoals soul with, the whole country thing going on. And what a marriage of genres. I mean, it's so cool.
Yeah, I was a little nervous or apprehensive, I guess, to put out a song like that one. There's another one on the EP too in the same vein, just because it's kind of a departure from the Americana sound, or people what they think of Americana. But I just love the old 60s soul records and I love to sing it. And, I put it together and I just went back and forth like, man, I don't know if I should deviate that much, but it's, my streams and listeners have gone up 90% since that song came out. So everybody just seems to really gravitate towards it. So I'm glad I put it out.
Yeah. So, who do you got playing horns on this?
A guy named Michael Abrams. He's down in Nashville. What I can't get here or do myself, I use a site called soundbetter.com, and I've met some really cool musicians on there and kind of hire out, and then I mix it here. So on that one, I had a guy in his horn section put some horns on there.
Sure,
That was awesome.
sure. Man, so good, so good. And the backing vocals, who do you have doing that?
She's a girl named Deeza. She's in California. Shout out to her actually, because she was in LA, so she's evacuated from the fires. But she's got her own stuff too. I also found her on Sound Better, but now I kind of use all these people off of that site now that I've met them. But she's done some work on a few of my songs, and she's on a couple of the songs on this record. She does all the vocals herself, and she can just do every part. The fifth. The seventh, the harmony, whatever you want her to do. So, and then she's got her own kind of, pop sound that she does, but she's amazing. And hard to pick anybody else to do those my songs now.
Yeah. Guys, anything to chime in?
I mean, it sounds like you're having a hell of a time singing it. It sounds like you're really enjoying yourself, kind of digging into those, some of the grittiness.
Yeah, it's so I don't know about you guys, but when I write, so I can't sit down and purposefully write. So I can't just say, I'm going to go write a song, or I'm going to sit down and have a writing session. Like, it has to come to me. It has to be something that I hear a word or a phrase and I write it in my phone, and then I come back to it later. Or you wake up in the middle of the night, you've lost more to not being able to wake up yourself out of sleep to write it down than you've actually been able to write down. But with this one, I finished all the other songs on the EP, and my friend Marcus Trana, who plays drums for me, I said, hey, I got this chorus idea. And so I played it for him, and then I said, I don't have any verses. And so for the sake of ease, we tracked the drums and just did the same chord structure throughout the whole song, so that I could go back and write the verses to it. So it's kind of the only time that I've sat down and focused on and tracking something right then and there. But it was a fun time, and we tracked those drums, and then I went back and wrote it afterwards.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, here's a little sample of your other song, Deja Vu, also from the new EP.
She never was fancy or put up much of a fight. She danced real pretty at night. She worked herself to the bone, her heart in her home out on loan. She never paid on time, and she lived in squalor, but I never saw someone work so hard for $1.
This is to me, that's just classic retro, country. I mean, even I gotta share this. I love that art.
Great art.
It looks like so many of my dad's old album covers.
Yeah, that's the EP is kind of like that too. We're just really going for a retro sound. I love stuff that Sturgill Simpson does. He kind of genre bends and does old school stuff, and Charlie Crockett and Marcus King with bluesy stuff. Like with Accuse Me, I thought of what would Chris Stapleton singing a Marcus King song recorded at Stax in Memphis sound like,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of retro sounds. And my friend Pat Lyons plays mandolin and pedal steel on that song. Pat is also in Nashville. He produces Coulter Wall, and he's going on tour with Coulter Wall and all the stuff on La Honda Records. So all that old vintage stuff. He's got a room full of old vintage guitars and amps from the 60s, and so it's not just writing in that retro sound, but really recording in some of it too.
Right.
Every night felt like
Man, oh man,
deja
that's some good stuff.
Dance to the song of the pines, captured hearts like mine.
Man, you know how to sell a song with your singing. That is so cool.
I consider that my instrument, really. I'm pretty average at anything with a string, but so that's why I let a lot of other people play a lot of that stuff. Just put me on acoustic guitar and let them rip on the instruments and just let me sing them.
Wonderful. All right. Well, Eric, this is going to drop. The full EP is going to drop on Friday. Deja Vu and Accuse Me are already available. Where can folks find them once everything is released?
Wherever you stream music, go on there and make us that 0.004 cents, baby. Stream them on Spotify, and I think Tidal pays like 0.006 or 8 or something. Yeah, baby. Just
All right. Okay.
yeah, anywhere on the streaming platforms, you'll be able to listen to that, and hopefully we'll have some physical copies out too that you can purchase and slap on your wall.
Wonderful. And where can people find you online?
Eric Hagen Music on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere you go on social media. Eric Hagen Music is usually the handle. So
wonderful. Well, Eric, thanks for being with us tonight. And man, I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of this.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on and the kind words. Us musicians, we need bigger heads. I might not be able to fit into this hat much longer.
All right. Well, we've got a couple of guys here that are under a small bit of a time crunch, but we're going to fit them in here and make sure everybody's taken care of. Michael Grabner.
Hello, Rob.
My man.
This guy, another deja vuer.
This is true. I also have a song called Deja Vu. I released about a year and a half ago.
So many layers here.
Yeah. So yeah. I've wanted to, talk to Eric for a while, considering we have this.
It's just us and CSNY, man. That's the only people that can touch that title.
And that Uptown Baby song from the 90s. Uptown Baby. That was called Deja Vu too.
I'm not
so
familiar. It's not as small of a club as I thought.
No, he's lying. There's only 3.
All right. Well, you got a new single that recently came out called Haul Me Away. Now, I remember going to a couple gigs last year and you were calling it the cat song.
I was.
He still is. He still calls it
that. I still usually call it that. I just didn't feel like the cat song would work for the official title. I ran it through my head a few times and I was just like, no, we're gonna change it and let the cat element of the song be a surprise. So
yeah,
chose wisely.
Well, here's a little taste of Haul Me Away.
Till the dead started to rise. We never claimed we'd float away. Just that we would paint outside of the light. I'd let them haul me away to some strange dimension. If it was with you, what do you want me to say? I forgot to mention the cat's coming too. Well, maybe we should.
Oh, there it is. There's the cat reference.
There was.
Had to get to it, yeah.
So you're coming to us from an undisclosed location, which is oodles warmer than Appleton right now.
This is correct. I'm in Exuma in the Bahamas.
I'm sorry you've got that condition.
Yeah, I know. It's rough. And my captors do have me on a short leash, which is why I have to cut out a bit early.
Yeah, you got the hostage video thing down pretty good. So
I thought so. Yeah.
Well, tell us about the song. I mean, because is this again the same crew that have worked on the last few singles?
Yes. So this is actually the 7th in this series of singles that I've been releasing because, as Eric said, the world has a shorter and shorter attention span and is
every 6 weeks, man.
Yeah. Hey, we're in the same boat. So this will eventually all be compiled onto an album. But yes, this is the same crew. It's been a small crew, but I've just had a blast working with Rick Armstrong on the drums on all these tracks. And then it's Mark Goldie doing basically everything else and myself. It's just been an awesome collaboration with Mark, who also did one of my favorite Fox Menagerie videos.
Yeah, I did.
Leaning into the
ELO or
Jeff
something.
Lynne look, which I love. But yeah, just working with these guys, it's been a blast. And I each song I'm like, okay, this is my favorite one yet. After I get like the final mix, and then again that happens with the next one, which is a really great feeling. And this isn't an exception. I love how it turned out. I love the Mellotron parts that Mark added. I think it turned out really well.
And that is a genuine Mellotron, is it not?
It's a digital
is
replica. Yeah, it's not the real deal. We didn't
He's
want
got a real Wurlitzer.
all that.
Okay. I lose track of Mark Goldie has probably the coolest set of vintage equipment that I've ever seen. So when you hear a lot of the stuff coming out of Rock Garden Studio, a lot of it is authentic.
Yes, and it's just it's such a cool place to work, and to collaborate with Mark. It's just like I feel like I'm stepping back in time every time I walk into the studio, and I love working with them.
All right. Well, guys, anything to chip in here?
I love how it turned out, Michael. I mean, you sent it to me, many months ago, and I think I was like, I feel like a little bit of like Jonathan Richman, Randy Newman type, and the vibe that came through is a little different than I even expected. It's really, really great. I love it.
Yeah, we talked a little bit before we went live, and I had to ask if the drums were a real kit or not. They sounded so clean. It's like it just really well done on the kit. I was just not just not the rest of the song I didn't like, but I was just like, man, is that a digital kit, or they just really just lock that in, man? It just sounded good.
Well, thank you, man.
All right. Well, Michael, where can people find you online, and then also find Haul Me Away and your other material?
You can find my music on all the streaming platforms. Again, it's Michael Grabner. MichaelGrabnermusic.com is my website. You can find all my upcoming gigs and links to all the socials and streaming platforms there.
All right. And YouTube, if you're listening in, man, all these songs are original by these guys, and I've got their permission. So, hey, we're cool. We don't have to worry about the 10-second rule here. So we're going to move on now to Tyler S.J.
Nobody said anything, did they? Were there any song police out there?
Oh, believe me, after all the live streams that
Oh God.
Yeah, that people have been nailed for. I'm covering myself here. So, all right. So, Tyler,
Yes, sir.
you just dropped a Christmas album last month that was
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
Thanks.
It's the any time of year Christmas album.
I like to think so. I've listened to it many times in 2025.
Yeah.
Just driving up those streams.
So now you just went back in the studio with Tom Thiel this time
Right.
and recorded a new single, and that's going to drop on Thursday already.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I wasn't planning to go back in right away, and I wrote the song right after the new year, and I sent it to Michael, as I do with everything. He's like, "You should record this right away." I don't know if you even said that, but you implied it. And so then, like,
Heavily implied. Yeah.
and so then the song's called "Dry January." It's about dry January, and I was like, I'd wanted to work with Tom on the Christmas album. He hadn't been available, and so I was like, "Hey, you want to just do this song? We'll just do it one night." And so we did, and it came out great.
Yeah, I need to go back here and find. He gave me a little tidbit here to share.
Did that come out yet, or was that did you send a SoundCloud link?
Yeah, I sent just the dirty to you guys. I mean, it's the same. But yeah, it'll be on streamers and stuff on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
So Tom says, I really love the song. Tyler captures that feeling of when someone you know is gone and your memories become more meaningful, especially the memory of the last time you saw that person. I just love the lyrics. I just wanted to create some atmosphere with some subtle guitar parts and let Tyler's guitar part shine. So, and honestly, he did it. I mean, Tom,
He was incredible. If you guys don't know Tom, he's something else, man.
shout out to Tom Thiel, man. If you're watching,
Yeah.
dude, yeah, I am looking forward to your next one, Tom. So I'm going to cue this one up here. There we go.
Long intro.
Jordy never known it, but I thought him a friend. Had me by a decade in a house at the end. Quiet street where only things that happen seem to happen to him. Jordy never listened, but he listened to me. Tossed me the keys to his Chevy, leaned my bike on a tree. Never cooler than in that June Dakota heat. I'd long since changed my zip code when I heard where Jody's journey stopped. With a backseat full of empties and Chevy resting on his stop. He loved that girl since 17. Swore one day they'd marry. I still think of Jody each dry January.
And then it goes on like that for a while.
Tom has got to be one of the most tasteful guitarists that I've ever come across.
Yeah, and it comes in so, humbly, almost like.
Well, that's Tom.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. But like, yeah, just let me know if this doesn't work for you, and then, burns your face off. with his first shot.
Yeah. Michael had to bounce, so he's got to save a little bit of data for the rest of his trip. But thank you, Michael, if you're still tuned in. Thanks for being with us tonight. So, but both you and Tom recorded this at Rock Garden. His name is Michael with his.
Right. This is the first song I think I've done that Mark wasn't on. And I guess he plays a little shaker. Take that back. But so this was just a kind of a two-hander with Tom.
Let's just turn that up.
January.
Man, the one thing, Tyler, that really impresses me is that, and I know you got to bounce here in a couple minutes.
Yeah, a couple seconds. Right.
But man, you over the last year, you dropped 2 albums. You're dropping this single. You have got this following that just keeps increasing and increasing and growing here in the valley. And it's almost like every time I go out to see a gig, the crowd is bigger and bigger and bigger.
Hope so.
Man,
I don't know. It's been a really, really fun year.
Go ahead.
And I think we should qualify that the crowds are big at Christmas because it's Christmas. People are out there. But it's been a cool year, yeah.
I think it's just a testimony to the quality of your stuff, your music, and and who you are. I mean, you're so personable when you get up there on stage and you just enjoy the crowd and the interaction.
Yeah, what Eric was saying. You don't need to make me any more arrogant. Sure. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
That hat's not going to fit much longer, bro.
No, I know. It's already like 30 years old. It's a real mangy hat. People are like, they still wear those? Like, yeah, they do. I do. But I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Oh, you bet. You bet. And
there it is.
There's the artwork.
Took that picture on the Fox River like last Thursday. So I mean, it kind of came together quickly, but
man, you're working at like John Lennon 1971 speeds.
It can't sustain itself, right? The center can't hold.
Yeah. So, anyways, I know you got to get cracking here, but where can folks find the new song online, and where can they find you online?
Yeah, it'll be on all the streamers on Thursday. If all goes better than my Christmas album release did. Long story, guys. But then and then tyler-sj.com.
Wonderful.
All the socials and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Ty, thank you for being with us tonight and sharing the song. And man,
thank you so much for having me. And thank you for being here, guys. Really big fans of all you guys. Jamie, I really enjoyed your songs. I'm really sorry I can't stick around. I got to pick up my son. But
cheers, mate. No worries. All the best, mate. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you too. Great to meet both of you guys. And Joe, I've been a big fan since I watched you in Oshkosh in like 2012 or 13, something like that. So yeah, I mean, mega talent. So great to meet you, man.
Appreciate that. I love everything I've heard tonight too.
Come on up here to Door County one of these days and visit the studio.
I'd love to. I'm going to be up at Cherry Lanes in February. I'll come by and say hi if I can.
Yeah. Get my info from Rob and shoot me a text or something.
Certainly. Great to meet you guys. Yeah, I got a boogie. All right. Have a great night, guys. See ya.
All right. Which brings us to Mr. Balcombe down in the Outback. Tell
Thanks
us.
for having me on, mate. Really appreciate it.
You bet. And you also are a podcaster. You have a show called the Dodge City Social Club, which I am a fan of. And that's really how you and I got connected, was because of our love of surf music.
Yes, exactly, mate. Yeah, I started. I was doing a bit of work on the community radio, and I still do. We got a community radio, Randy, 106.7 Hot FM, and I do a bit of presenting there. And I started my show there. And and I just thought, I got sick of going in at 8 o'clock every Sunday night. It's sort of like the graveyard time to go in. And I thought, 15-year-old kids do podcasts from home. So I'm very technically challenged with computers. So I just sort of decided to just do it from home and learn to teach how to do it myself. And and I'm just, as time goes on, mate, more bands jump on board. And I mean, look, everyone wants to be played on a podcast, don't they?
Yeah.
So
man, I gotta say, I was really, when you shared with me the two songs, I was a little bit privy to the whole process of how these songs were being recorded and stuff. And, the guys that you had involved, I'm thinking about John from Magnatech and stuff, pulling these kinds of guys in to help you with these songs is just incredible.
Oh yeah, look, extremely lucky and extremely grateful. Like Jason Deathridge from the Surf Hermits, he's up in British Columbia there, and he said ages and ages ago, if you want a hand, just give us a yell. So I just sort of hit him up, and it's just one of those things, mate. I just I wish I could be like all the rest of you guys that have got your own studios and all that type of stuff. I mean, all I use is one microphone and my amplifier set up in my kitchen, so or in one of my rooms. So I mean, it's very primitive the way I do things, but it's just a learning process. You learn as you go along. I'm not really in a band, to be quite truthful, and I haven't got the money to go into a professional studio, even though there's some good professional studios around this area here. There's some good bands too. But as far as surf music's concerned, I just got sick of listening to everything else. So I think there comes to a sort of a stage in your life where you think, well, I've listened to everything, I think, and now what's next? And to cut a long story short, I was going to Europe. I had 5 weeks in Europe planned, and then COVID come along. So that got cut out. So I went and bought a Gretsch. I went and bought a Jazzmaster, a Fender Twin Reverb, and a Surfy Bear reverb unit, and just started learning from scratch. Taught myself Pipeline and Surf Rider and bits and pieces like that. And then I heard Dick Dale, and I thought, oh God, I'm never going to be like that. But as time goes on, I practice about 3, 4, 5 hours every day just because I love it, and I've got a bit of time on my hands now. So I just thought I'd just go for it, and with the song with Jason, Podium Finish, he basically didn't change the structure at all. I just sent him with the basic just drum beat and left it up to him, because he's a session studio musician, and as well as we know, he's got his own band, the Surf Hermits, as well. So I mean, he was, and to get Jason and John together to help me is just like they're doing it for nothing. All they want is a thank you, and that's it. And you can't ask any more out of someone than that. So as far as Podium Finish was concerned, Jason basically didn't change the structure of the song at all, and just did the bass and the drums and aligned it so it's 100% lock in time. And then with John,
there it is. Yeah, let's give her a little listen. Well, you definitely have been studying up on your classic surf.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, when I gave that song to John, he sort of changed it all around, like, and not in a bad way either, because my playing's very sort of one-dimensional, sort of, and I've got a lot of improving to do. I wouldn't say I'm a songwriter or anything like that, but I wouldn't know a middle eight from a chorus from anything. I wouldn't know. But yeah, John sort of chopped and changed it around, and see, his mantra is don't make it so boring. Try and not make it so. Because surf guitar, like the surf instrumental, is based on repetition and playing in time.
Mhm.
And John said, hey, you just got to learn bits and pieces of ways of getting around it to make it more interesting. So that was sort of like a learning experience as well.
So during COVID, while we all got pets that we didn't need, you did something productive.
Well, yeah, like Eric, I've had guitars for about 20 years, and I'd have a few beers and play 3 or 4 chords on a weekend and think I was Angus Young or something. I just thought it's time to either give them away or just get serious and just see what becomes of it. So, I mean, I guess my father was one of the sort of he's passed away now, but he's an inspiration. He just sort of said, if you ever think you got anything, there's always someone around the corner that's better than you. And he wasn't saying it in a disparaging way either. He was just saying, just keep practicing, and then you get somewhere. You don't have to be the best in the world, or no one wants to be the best guitar player in the world. That's not even a title anyway. As long as you work at it and just put your shoulder to the wheel and see what becomes of it. And I was lucky to get Jason and John to help me out. So it sounds like something that people listen to, and because of all the music I get through the podcast and other bands send me, I sort of think I'm never going to be able to sound like that, but there you go. After a while it works out, so perseverance pays off.
Well, here's a sample of your other track, Podium Finish. So I got to ask, I've seen you, pictures of you and even video. You got a couple different axes. What are you using on these?
In Podium Finish, I use, because I'm a left-hander, I find decent guitars hard to come across. So that one I got a Gretsch 5420, and it's like anything I buy. Like, I don't get to play it before I buy it. I just think, oh well, why not? So yeah, the Gretsch is a different way of. It took me a while to get used to it, but it's good. I really love playing it now, and with the second tuner, Moana Point, that was just a jazz master. Yeah. But it's like I said, you try and being a left-handed guitar player and see how hard it is to get just half-decent guitars, So, and I'm also one of these people, I don't like buying from retailers overseas. I mean, all guitars are made overseas, to be quite truthful. But I'd rather buy it from a supplier in Australia. So at least if something goes wrong, you can send it back and you're not waiting months for it to go back to America or whatever. So you just got to, yeah. So I've got a Epiphone Les Paul I've had for about 20 years. That's a good guitar, but it's not really a surf guitar. And I've got a dingy old Telecaster, an old Squier Telecaster, which is, it's okay. But I mean, basically all I use is the Jazzmaster and the Gretsch. And I was looking at another guitar this morning, like another upmarket sort of a Jazzmaster, and they're about $3,000. I'm thinking, yeah.
There you go.
Beautiful. That's what we like. just switch it around.
Yeah, just flip it upside down. That's because you're from Australia and everything's backwards.
Well, yeah, we drive on the other side of the road and everything, but I've been to America a couple of times now.
You'd be right-handed if you came to America. All of a sudden you'd switch hands.
Well, this is the strangest thing, Eric. Like when I was in America last in 2017, I stayed in the Sunset Strip and just 2 blocks away from the Guitar Center. So they got a building each side of the road. You know how many left-handed guitars they had? 10.
2. Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
But in a store with like thousands of Ronetti guitars, they had nothing.
That's why back in the day they were flipping them upside down and restringing them the other way.
Yeah. I mean, guys that do that are like, well, Dick Dale, obviously, he was one I did, and of course Hendrix is the obvious example. But yeah, like every guitar store I go into, someone says, "Why didn't you learn right-handed from the start?" I write left-handed. I don't know. That just seems strange doing it that way. That way's the go. So yeah, there's not much you can do. So you just got to find your way around things sometimes, and just the classic and inverted commas DIY. You just got to. It's like my recording techniques are fairly primitive, but the results turn out better than what I thought anyway. And yeah, so it's all just putting it all together. But yeah. So Eric, what are your thoughts on instrumental music or instrumental rock and roll?
I like the surf sound, like the old that old 60s stuff. Like I said before, I'm into the old 60s soul vibe, but back in those days there was a lot of that instrumental rock too, or like Booker T, doing
Yes,
instrumental, bluesy, soulful kind of stuff, or maybe they only had like a couple lines of lyrics in a song. It's a cool vibe.
Yeah.
It gives you a change of pace. Gives you a change of pace of stuff, sometimes.
Yeah. I was going to ask you before when you were talking about the genre Americana, and I know it's a very varied sort of genre of music, but one of my favourite songs is by the Blasters, like Dark Knight. I'm not sure if you know that song at all, but it's a fantastic song. Yeah, no, the Blasters are a really good band.
It's funny because part of the uptick in my streams and my followers on streaming, oddly enough, have come from Australia and the UK. So just this with the release of Accuse Me, all of a sudden I'm looking at my streaming, my Apple for artists and Spotify for artists. I'm like, and radio stations in Australia. I'm like, all of a sudden, you Australians are digging that for some reason. I've never had that many streams or radio plays from Australia, so I don't know if that's if it's a popular genre there or if it's becoming popular there, but it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. But I mean, like I'm sort of I'm one of these people that's got my head in the sand. I'm just that into the surf guitar instrumental and all that type of music. It's a lot of other music bypasses me. But particularly, but in the UK, like they love their roots rock and roll, all that sort of stuff. And there's quite a few festivals, around Australia featuring that type of music. So if you ever wanted to get over here, I'm sure you could get on a bill somewhere.
I was in Nashville for the Josie Music Awards, and that's when I first saw I had all these radio stations playing Australia, in Australia, and I said to my wife, I'm like, we might have to go tour Australia. And then I was at a place having lunch, and an Australian couple came up to me and asked if I was Eric Hagen. And they wanted a picture with me. I'm like, okay, that's it. We gotta go to Australia.
How's that hat still fit one?
It was the strangest thing. I'm big in Australia. I can't get a gig in my hometown, but I'm big in Australia.
So are you actually like serious when you say that, or does your hometown sort of get behind you, or?
No, I'm just being facetious, but
yeah, right.
It was just a welcome change and just kind of an odd thing that happened with these last releases, that all of a sudden getting all these listeners from down under.
Yeah, I'd say most of them would be like through internet radio stations, because I'm sure the commercial radio stations in Australia are horrible. They just play the same music over and over again. It's just So I'm assuming like you've associated with like internet radio stations as well, or podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't submit anything to them, but the internet stations there have have picked up some of the music. So that's how I found out. You know,
Excellent.
it's through your backstage of your your Spotify and Apple, where you can go in and
Yeah.
look at your stats. So
Yeah.
so I was just
Yeah,
curious
so
if that music is that kind of music's picking up steam there or something, or
it is. Yes, it is for sure. 100%, man. Yeah. So I'm about to put these radio stations around town here to a little test, because there's a couple of commercial ones and one that's run by the government, the ABC. So they're always saying, "Oh, we love our local music and we're proud of our local music and all this." Well, I'm about to test them out, because I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them those 2 songs, me 2 originals plus. I did a couple of just basic versions of Wipeout and Apache. They're on my SoundCloud page. I'm going to take them into these radio stations and see how actually serious they are about, we want to promote our local people. So I'm not expecting anything at all. But
we're pretty lucky over here, where we've got a lot of support from local radio stations. A lot of them have local radio hours where they only, it's an hour program where they only play local music. Or I'm part of the Midwest Country Music Organization, and they send a radio program out to 28 syndicated stations throughout the Midwest here in the U.S. that play an hour. So I'm sure they do stuff like that in Australia, and hopefully they stand by what they say.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like I said, when you take music like this, when you take music like the instrumental stuff, and I'll just test them out and see if they really do care about the local people in their area. But I'm about to find out.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised, because they can get off format when they do that. They don't, like he just posted 91.1. They have a format of I guess adult contemporary, really, right? And then
they're kind of they're pretty varied, actually, if depending on when you're listening to the station. Because, for example, my show is on Sunday nights at 8. In following my show, all of a sudden I'm hearing stuff that I never thought I would hear on the radio, and just some incredible mixing that I got to give credit to Rob Moore for what he's doing.
And people are looking for retro sounds. Everybody's chasing vintage and retro, and people are starting to get sick of the there's always going to be the popular stuff and what's hot now, but there's a lot of stations, a lot of radio, a lot of internet radio, a lot of different programs, different publications that are really looking for stuff off the beaten path, especially for I think what drives it is streaming television, because back in the day you'd have these Netflix or movies would be licensing popular music, and now you're here. That's the first time you hear an artist now, right? You watch some Netflix show or HBO show, and you're like, oh, what song was that? And it's some people that are relatively unknown there, because they're not, where they used to pay $100,000 to place your song in a show, now they're only paying you $1,000. And Chris Stapleton's not taking $1,000 to go put a song on a TV show. So now they're getting artists that are relatively unknown and placing them in a lot of programming.
Yeah, well, the radio station I work at now, like, there's specialty programs, and one of my friends, Danny, runs he calls it the 60s long lunch, and it's just 2 hours of not so much instrumental, but just 60s music. And because I'm friends with him, and he's had me on the show just for a bit of an interview and just to help me get me off the ground. And so the radio station, like, the manager, he's a good bloke. I get on with everyone well there. He sort of said, during the day it's probably not, but they put it in the system for the specialty shows like the 60s long lunch.
Yeah, no, they're not putting you on at drive home from work time, right?
And that's just the community station. We've got a couple of commercial radio stations here, but they're owned by
iHeartRadio, and
they're owned by the bigger networks from the city, and so their playlists are basically set out for them, and there's no real room for a lot to for movement there, because our manager at the community station now, he used to be the manager at one of those commercial stations, and he'd say it's just the scope for, what do you call it, individualism, or even in creating a program with slightly different music, is basically gone. And
they're part of a conglomerate, and they get fed a list of songs you got to play.
Yeah. So that basically, so I'm going to try them out anyway, just for interest's sake. But I ain't expecting too much. But we'll see how we go with the ABC, because the ABC are more supposedly like local content and all the rest of it.
Well,
So
maybe Rob can get you on the Avenue.
Hey,
well, I don't know.
the Avenue, Code Zero Radio. I'm willing to shop you around, man.
Yeah, no, love Rob's. You've been a great supporter of him, man. I really appreciate it. And we sort of mirror each other a bit, because you're into your surf music as well, and you play my music on your show and I play yours on mine. So it's really really great to talk to you and meet you all, and just it's really good, man. It sort of gives you when you're such an amateur and you don't have I don't have an ego or anything anyway. I never have, but when people show a bit of interest, and then you get a few listens on SoundCloud, and then you manage to fluke it and get your music on Spotify and all the rest of it. It's sort of like I said, my computer skills are. But because we've got so good a weather in here, I don't like playing my guitar till night time, because you want to be outside during the day, out in the garden and doing a bit of exercise and getting out and about. So but I can always understand people in snowy places or gloomy places that don't want to go inside because it's raining all the time or snowing. Then obviously you get to make more music. But I'm really thankful to you, Rob. You've been great to me, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad to be able to help you out in that way. And I appreciate what you do too with the Dodge City Social Club, and having me on there pushing into the music on your show. And that means a lot. So
no worries, mate. It's all good.
Yeah. I need to give a shout out here to John Calarco, otherwise known as Johnny C. John was supposed to be with us tonight, and unfortunately he's not going to be able to make it. He's in a band practice right now, and so he's tied up, and this kind of came around last minute, but he is working on a new album. And if you listen to the show that I did with him, maybe about a month and a half ago, we played a couple tracks from his new album called Drone. Now, it's still in the mixing stage. Unfortunately, it's gotten a bit delayed, but Drone is going to be coming out soon. And the stuff that I have heard from it is incredible. There is a song on there called It's All Right, and I'm just going to play a little bit of it here. And it
Tuesday still in morning in the room. Wednesday lift the shade and draw the light. Thursday's gone again, you're out of sight. Fridays always say you'll make it right. The weekend comes again, you're ghosting me.
So you get the idea. I mean, John is one of the finest drummers in Wisconsin, maybe in the region. And he's making stuff like this with he has drummed with Daryl Sturmer, who was part of Phil Collins' band, part of the touring version of Genesis, and he is such a Genesis fan himself, kind of doing this vintage Peter Gabriel era sound here. So really looking forward to this album. He's working on it with Randy McStein, guitars from Porcupine Tree, and man, it's the stuff that I've heard from it is some special stuff. So be looking forward to that. And you can find John at Johnny C. That's JohnnyCee.com. And just kind of keep tabs on that because this is going to be a killer album once it comes out. So, yes, people do actually release albums these days yet. So,
Yeah, they release albums and some single or a collaboration with somebody every few weeks.
so there it is. There's the cover. So we have one more song that's coming out, and it's coming out this Friday, and it just happens to be my own.
Oh, you son of a gun.
So, and like Jamie was just talking about, we're both a couple of surf music heads, and so I'm going to give you a little taste of this here. So going with that that classic surf sound on that one, and I got to give a shout out to Emily Gould playing drums on that. Man, she just I think she did a one and done on this thing because it just blew me away that I sent it to her. She laid down the track and got it right back to me, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And so, Emily, thank you on that. And Matt Hayes in Green Bay, listen to this. Just Matt has such a feel for surf guitar. It's incredible. So, Matt, thank you on that one too, if you're watching. So, this is going to drop.
Excellent, mate. Excellent.
Pardon?
Excellent, mate. Excellent. I think I've played that before, haven't I? Or no, I've played Ocean Deep. I think I've played Ocean Deep. I think, haven't I?
Actually, I think you played both on your show.
I think I have. Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, yeah, this one actually was recorded in 2021 and decided that it's been sitting around long enough. It needs an official release. And so it will actually be available if you go to the intothemusicpodcast.com website on Friday. There will be a link to where you can buy that. And when you buy that, money is going to go right back into the music. So certainly would appreciate it.
Yeah. Good to see you on TV the other day, mate.
Hey, thank you very much. Yeah, it was fun to get back there on Local 5 Live, and they do such a great job supporting the local scene. And Eric, are you familiar with Local 5 Live?
Yeah, I've been on there a couple times when they come up to Door County and do some show at 9 o'clock or whatever. They do at different points. I think I played during their commercial breaks a few times.
Cool.
Not in the studio though. I think you were in the studio, huh?
I was. Yep. So it's always nice to have them have their support, and want to give a shout out to Lisa Malik and for having me, and for Cody James being there with me as well. Cody did a fantastic couple songs there. So Shout out to Cody. So, well, it looks like we are just about done here. Man, thank you guys. I want to say a shout out to 91.1 The Avenue. You can hear Into the Music there on Sundays at 8 p.m. Central Time. And a shout out also to outhouserradio.com. Al Lockwood, I'm going to be interviewing him coming up. And man, the guy has got one special station out there in New Hampshire. So you can hear Into the Music Saturdays at 2 o'clock Eastern out there on Outhouse Radio. And
Yeah, thank you, Rob, for giving me his contact. I did touch base with him, and he added a couple of the tracks to their rotation too. So
wonderful, Jamie. I'll give you his contact information as well, man.
Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks again for having me on, mate. I really appreciate it. We'll stay in contact, man, because we're in the surf scene. We're in it up to our necks, so we better fight our way through. And it's great to put a voice to the name. And awesome, man, fantastic. And Eric, great to meet you, mate. I could probably talk to you for hours about music and getting a band together and all that type of stuff. But yeah, so all the best to you, man. Hopefully we'll catch up one day again.
yeah, we'll find each other on social media or something. We'll stay in touch.
No worries, mate. Too easy.
All right. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this show. And now coming up in a month, we're going to be February 11th, 7 o'clock Central. We're going to be covering album cover art. Yeah, album cover art. And I'm going to have Frank Anderson back here with me. And I'm also going to have Sean Swanson from the Gentlemen Grifters. And we'll see who else shows up. And we're going to be discussing some of our favorite album cover art, how it's evolved over the years. And I think it's going to be a very interesting topic. So thank you, everybody, for coming here, hanging out with us tonight, and all the best to you. Remember to like, share,
see you guys.
You bet.
All right, thanks, Rob.
And we'll see you next month. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Catch us later. Thanks.
And that does it.